along the way, I've been so blessed to have the mentorship of the leading professors at Harvard, MIT, UPenn, the top beer scientist in Germany. I mean, you name it. I lived under every rock. I checked every box to make a very scholarly, compelling case that I hope reads like a fun adventure through time.
It is amazing. You're a very good writer and researcher, and obviously the chosen one. I keep saying that. The Immortality Key is the name of the book. How did you get this access that you speak so highly of? How does one get into these Vatican libraries? Because they're impossible to get into.
To be honest, it's not very easy. I mean, if you go on the Vatican Secret Archives website, you'll see a bunch of stuff in Italian, and you'll see a long form, which is not easy to read through. And they ask for a letter of recommendation, either from a professor or from clergy. And I wasn't going to get a priest to recommend me, so I had this guy, Carl Ruck, at Boston University, who's now 85 years old. This is his theory. This is his life's work. This is not my idea. Again, this is from 1978, when he was my age. When he was my age, Carl Ruck at Boston University, educated at Harvard and Yale, released this idea that the ancient Greeks were using drugs to find God. And his career took a total nosedive, because talk about the wrong book at the wrong time. 40 years later, without that bias of the war on drugs, I took a very fresh look at this and went for the hard scientific evidence. And turns out the guy wasn't completely off, but I mean, he was the man who wrote the recommendation letter to get me into the Vatican Secret Archives.
Wow, that is unbelievable. There's going to be a movie, I totally see this.
It's in the works, man.
Okay, good. I'm like, this is definitely a film. That's why you guys have to read this book. I mean, to me, the Vatican Libraries, I picture it like, I'm forgetting the guy's name in Game of Thrones, but when he worked in the library, monastery, whatever it was, and there was a cage where there was other books, but they were locked behind that cage. Were there secret places like that in there that you weren't allowed to go to, or they gave you full access?
No, I did not get full access. There are lots of back chambers. There's a whole underground chamber in there. Fortunately, I made friends with one of the chief librarians, and we had lots of coffee in the Cortile della Biblioteca, which is this beautiful courtyard right outside the secret archives. And I consider him a good friend now, and a fan of the archives. And he very delightfully led me through the collection. And his response to my research is that, and I found this all across the board, is any research, if done truthfully and if done with a good purpose, is worthy of consideration. And, I play by the rules. I talk to the experts. I tell the truth. And I try and do it in a fun way. But there's a lot of serious scholarship here.